YouTube. Uh, First of all, let me to tell you Happy New Year. I hope that you start this new year with a lot of hits, lot of success, because this is, after all, a game changer. And the year of 2023 sounds to be nice. So let's see. Let's see what lay ahead, as we say. Uh, my topic of the day concerning this live is about overhyped or hyped fragrances. Because as you all know that there are many hyped fragrances and they are pushed hard by other fragrance reviewers on YouTube, and suddenly it became so hyped and so overhyped that everyone buy them and without even knowing them, without even sniffing them, and suddenly it became kind of must to have, and we start to rush to buy them, we start to rush to have them, and after a while we don't care about them because they are not our own taste. We don't like them, we don't appreciate them, but we just bought them because of the hype around. So one of those fragrances that they were overhyped and now it's almost forgotten by the fragrance community and nobody talk even about it anymore is the king of overhype, I would say, is 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. You remember 1 Million by Paco Rabanne, the gold bullion. Everybody were talking about this scent. Everybody wanted to have this scent. Everybody cherished this scent. All the fragrance reviewers all over the world, they were just praising this scent. And I really found very fascinating. Then after a couple of times, it's now a forgotten scent. Nobody talk about this scent anymore. Nobody care about this scent anymore. And what happened? That's a question. What happened? Because, some fragrances are well-deserved overhyped. But Paco Rabanne 1 Million wasn't a well-deserved overhype. Was overhyped because of few fragrance reviewers that were pushing hard for this scent to be overhyped, to be praised by everyone. And that was very unjustified. Now, it's not only a matter of Paco Rabanne. There are many more examples. For example, Hawas by Rasasi. That was again another overhyped fragrance that everybody were talking about. Hawas by Rasasi. I sampled this fragrance and I hated at the first sniff. That was so pukey. That was so disgusting. That was so cheap. That was so just a headache maker. I just throw it away. Many more examples of those overhyped. Other overhyped that recently was overhyped and was cherished by everyone was H24 by Hermes. I bought it. I thought I trusted Hermes because I love the fragrances from the house of Hermes. I bought it, H24, and I wear it once. I couldn't afford to wear it twice. That was smelling like a cheap synthetic hand wiper from KFC. So I threw it away immediately. I reviewed about this fragrance. You can check my review. I talk about my feeling about H24, but everyone is praising H24. Everyone is talking about H24 as a fabulous fragrance. What is fabulous about H24? It's just the cheap lemony scent. It's not even deserved to be called a fragrance from the house of Hermes, because Hermes of Paris, they really release great fragrances. They release Bellamy, they release Equipage, they release Rocabar, even Terre d'Hermes. So what you can say about overhype? Why a fragrance become overhyped by the fragrance community? Well, it's very simple. I think there are unknown people to us. There are some invisible hands behind the curtain that pull the trigger, that really push fragrance reviewers to start to talk much about this scent every day, every day, every day. Not a fragrance reviewer such as me, because I don't have a lot of influence on the big mass. I'm talking about the big shots, such as Jeremy Fragrance, such as others. You know them, and those guys immediately they start to talk. They start to talk. They start to just repeat. They started to make the hype around the fragrance, and that fragrance became suddenly a huge hit, and everyone feel the needs to buy it. Everyone feel the needs to have it. And once you have it, once you wear it once, you wear it twice, you really start to realize that this is not a big shot. This is not a big deal. This is just a hype. You bought a hype. You wasted your money for nothing, for something that you don't even like it, for something that you were not even wear it. So that's a little bit of sadness, because I think we must not spend our money on just the words of others. We really must cherish a fragrance. We really must need to have that fragrance. And then we have to buy it. The best way to find out if the fragrance is made for you is to test the fragrance, of course, to test it, to sample it, to wear it a couple of days. And then if you feel comfortable with that fragrance, if you feel really you are enjoying to wear that fragrance, then buy it. Don't buy it because Jeremy Fragrance said so, or they buy it because Dan says so, or buy it because Brown says so. No, because those guys, maybe they really like that fragrance, but this is their opinion. This is not your opinion. You are not a puppet of fragrance community that they shake it and you buy. No, you have to test that fragrance. You have to wear that fragrance. You have to really experience that fragrance by your own self. And once you realize that this is the one you really like to have it, then go for it. It's the same thing with few couple fragrances that became a huge overhyped fragrances. For example, Club de Nuit, or even Avantis by Creed. Avantis was a kind of must to have. Everybody wanted to have Avantis. But it's nothing special about Avantis. Avantis is just a pleasant scent. Trust me, you started to buy Avantis because of the hype around. Otherwise, you will not spend $300 for that fragrance. This is just a lemony, pleasant scent. Okay, I'm not telling you that Avantis is disgusting. Avantis is a pleasant scent, but in the line of Creed, you have more pleasant scent. You have more grown-up scent. For example, green Irish tweed. For example, Bois de Portugal. For example, Himalaya. For example, Vetiver. Those fragrances are a lot better than Avantis. But why Avantis become a big seller? Why Avantis become a bestseller of the House of Creed? Because of the hype around. Because they created that hype. They created that hype to make it a bestseller. And that's why Avantis became a huge hit for the House of Creed. And then lots of clones were made around Avantis. Club de Nuit by Armaf, Explorer by Mont Blanc. Or even the House of Dunhill made a clone of Avantis, Dunhill Design Gold, which is the absolute clone of Avantis. And I review it. I bought it. I thought that Dunhill has his own personality. And I realized that Dunhill became a clone maker too. Come on. So what's going on with the fragrance community? In the fragrance community, in the core of fragrance community, you have fragrance reviewers. Their main job is to create a hype on demand. And they are invisibly working for the big brands. Otherwise, why a guy, he have to talk about 1 million every day? Every day he talk about the 1 million. What's so great about 1 million? I swear, I wore it only 4 times. And I don't even review it. I have it, never review it. Because to me it's a worthless scent. I just like the shape of the bottle. I just like the way it looked like a gold bullion. But why everybody? And no, nobody prays 1 million. If you wear a 1 million, you are already outdated. Or Sauvage by Christian Dior. Sauvage by Christian Dior. All the hype around Sauvage by Christian Dior was an absolute fake hype. Nothing is great about Sauvage by Christian Dior, except the hype around, except the advertisement around, except the money they spend to make it a great fragrance. What is great about Sauvage? It's a kind of boring scent, very linear, doesn't alter. It smells the same from the first sniff until the last sniff. It smells the same thing, and it's a kind of repulsive. I even get repulsed by Sauvage by Christian Dior. So why people are so mad about Sauvage? Nobody is mad about Sauvage. People, they think it's a great fragrance. Nothing is great about Sauvage by Christian Dior. It's the hype around that make it greater for you. And you believe on the words of others. Because every day, some fragrance reviewers, they push so hard for Sauvage by Christian Dior that Sauvage became a huge hit. Okay? So, this is a part of the game. This is a part of advertisement. Don't believe hype makers, because hype makers are paid to make hypes around a fragrance. Even tomorrow, if I'm going to release a fragrance and I start to pay a lot for advertisement, and I'm going to start to pay to hype makers, my fragrance will become a huge hit too. But that doesn't mean that the fragrance is a great fragrance. That means that they got good hype maker, they got good marketing around, and the fragrance become huge because of that. So I really wanted to tackle this matter about the fragrance and the hype around the fragrances, because I believe it's important. When you are in the market of fragrance, you realize that some fragrances deserve a true love. And some fragrances, they are not deserving of love at all, but they are loved because of the hype around. So that's a little bit tacky for me. That's a little bit weird for me, because why we have to depend on words of others to believe their words and to believe they are the best nose in the market? Who tell you that my nose is better than yours? Who tell you that my personal feeling or my own personal experience is better than yours? Try your own self. Try the fragrance on your own hand. Sniff it, wear it, live with the fragrance before you pull the trigger, before you buy. Don't buy a fragrance because of the hype around. Because I can talk about the lots of fragrances that they are just bestseller because of the hype around. Sauvage, 1 million. Let's say about the H24. Let's say about Azar Wanted. All those fragrances are worthless. They are worthless. In 20 or 25 years, nobody will talk about those fragrances. But people were going to talk about Tattoo Pour-Homme. They are going to talk about the Derby Pour-Homme. They are going to talk about Lanvin Pour-Homme. Those fragrances are immortal. But those fragrances are forgotten very fast. They are very easy forgotten. Listen, today, if you even own 1 million, do you wear 1 million? Are you going to pull that easily? Nobody will pull out 1 million anymore. To wear 1 million, you are a kind of punk. Who wear 1 million today? You want to go to clubbing? Are you going to pull off 1 million and work 1 million to go to clubbing? Nobody will do that. So take it easy, make your own choice, and just don't believe that the hype makers, they are right. Hype makers are there to do their own job. You want to have a real idea, you have to experience the fragrance by yourself. Once you experience, then you make a decision, and then you pull the trigger to buy the fragrance. That's my personal advice I'm not going to talk furthermore about this. I wish you an excellent Happy New Year, and time to time for some special topics I will do lives, because after all, I'm just a guy like you. So I just want to share my experience. I want to share my point of view. I never impose my personal view because it's very personal. Fragrances are very personal. You might like a rosy fragrance and I might hate a rosy fragrance. But I'm not going to buy a rosy fragrance because the hype around will push me to buy it. This is crazy. Are you going to buy a car because your cousin or your friend told you that car is fantastic? I don't think so. I think you buy a car because of your own experience. You test the car and then you buy. Fragrance is the same as a car. It's something you wear all day long. So are you going to wear all day long because the fragrance reviewer told you that this is a fantastic scent? Come on. Where is your personality? So this is my point. Wear only what you like to wear. Otherwise, don't waste your money on hype. Okay? Have a good day. Have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing and wherever you are. And talk to you very soon. God bless you all. Cheerio.